You are now listening to the ANR Design Unholstered podcast with Alex Costa. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 24 of the ANR Design Unholstered podcast. I'm your host, Alex Costa, owner of ANR Design. We specialize in all kinds of stupid shit. But today, my honored guest, very old friend, Graig Davis, that's with a Graig, owner of NeoMag. You guys know we sell their stuff. We push the fuck out of the Alias system. It's our go-to holster, receiver, receptacle, belt clip setup. But anyway, we have Graig today. It's been a long time coming. We've been meaning to do this for a very long time. And we appreciate Graig with his studio mic so that audio engineering will be so much easier later on. Graig.
You're welcome.
Graig, I love you. I miss you. I miss your sweet embrace. Yeah. But yeah, tell us a little bit about you, your business, when you got started, and we'll kind of move from there.
Well, first, I miss you too. And I'm glad that we finally get a chance to do this. I don't even think we actually crossed paths at SHOT Show last year. We're both there in the same building, but I don't think you and me ever crossed paths. So I'm glad to get to see your face here.
Oh, yeah. I'm adorable. Busy. I stopped going to Circle Bar and pretty much spend my life with like mill and teams at SHOT because we've already established ourselves fairly well with almost every major gun company out there. So I don't have to go around begging for help from gun companies or begging for sales anymore. We kind of already have that business. So now it's like, all right, I'm bouncing with the soft teams and they don't want to hang out at Circle Bar. So that's why you didn't see me.
I don't blame them.
And I missed you.
I don't want to either. So I feel that.
Let's get you out of there. I did offline. I'll have to talk to you, but there's a T1 unit that I basically sent an entire sample pack of all the Alias stuff, and they're running our holsters, and they're like, hey, when can we get all of this again in a larger sample pack for our low vis team? So I might be getting some cool shit moving your way.
Heck yeah, we got that. So to answer your questions, my name is Graig Davis, spelled wrong. You got that right. And so I have been, I'm the inventor of the NeoMag, and that started back in spring of 2015 is when I came up with the idea for that. And by October, I had a business license and I'd already sold, I don't even know, quantities, hundreds or something like that by then. And could kind of see some writing on the wall that maybe this is something here. And at the very least, I figured it'd be something fun to make in the garage a couple at a time for some friends and some people on the gram. And it just kept growing and growing until eventually I went full time with it, I think in like 2017. And we now have a team of like 6 now. I got a machine shop. We do all of our own manufacturing on most parts, not everything, but most parts, and shipping, receiving, the whole gamut is kind of here. I know you know what that's like. So, just kind of 1,000-foot view. That's who I am and what we do here. For the most part.
Well, it's nice because we started in 2014. We have 14 employees now, and I went full time in 2017. So we're kind of like 1 year, like perfectly 1 year apart for the same similar growth metric in terms of, I can do this. I can make this a thing. I can turn this into a living and I can live off of it. Kinda, when you first start. Financial question. I was talking with my wife, cause 2017 wasn't that long ago. And cause you think like, just the turn of 2019 and 2020 was COVID, and I went full time in 2007. You said 18 or 17? I can't remember.
I think 17.
So I was on the turn.
It was like late 17.
I was like late 16, and it's interesting because we were just kind of reminiscing about. It's only been, what year is it? 2020. Oh, it's only been 5.5 years. And, I was like, You used to live in an apartment, babe, that had a when the person ran their shower, water came through your light fixture in your bathroom, and you lived 8 blocks away from me. And I was making like $18,000 a year salary trying to make this fucking work, and that was only 5 years ago. Holy shit, like look where we've come. You know, it's kind of like I'm sure you have you guys have had that personal conversation where like, holy fuck, we've come a long way in a short period of time, and it's pretty amazing, really amazing.
Yeah, it is. I still wake up every day. One of my first thoughts is I'm thankful I get to do this today. I honestly do. Even in the toughest times of business that we've had, I still wake up thankful that this is what I get to do. I have the freedom. That's why I tell people who are thinking about, that having their own business. I tell them, you get the option to pick what 80 hours a week that you want to work. And that's basically the truth, especially to begin with. It's not so much that way anymore. I have a staff here, and I lean on them. And for my own health and sanity, and for the sake of my family, I've learned to manage my time better and to have more realistic timelines on things, so I'm not stressing myself out. But yeah, it truly is. In some ways, it seems like it was yesterday. But then also when I think about all the work that it's taken over the last 5 years, it's probably more than what most people will do in 10 years. Just, it's a grind. It really is in a lot of ways, but I'm so thankful that I get to do this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you and your family. You had a family when you started this business. You already had kids and married. My stuff, I'm a little behind on the family side of things. I now have a family. But it's one of those things where people just don't realize like how much rides on your shoulders when you now have a kid and a wife and a mortgage and all this stuff, and you can't fuck up. You have to constantly be riding that edge where you're always pushing yourself and you're always pushing the business and pushing your growth and making sure that you're not pigeonholed into just being like the holster guy, like I never imagined myself, at least, like you invented some really cool niche stuff. Like it was definitely super unique, never been done before. And that's fucking awesome. I kind of did something a little bit more generic, but innovative at the time. And, there was already Kydex holsters out there, but we tried to make them more affordable, more readily available, and make model SKU list huge. And that's kind of our bread and butter, is how many SKUs we have. But I'll tell you one thing, I don't want to fucking make holsters. Like I never wanted to make holsters. I never thought holsters were that cool. They serve a super important purpose. I'm super proud of what we've done, but I mean, I didn't get my engineering degree to be like, I'm gonna be a holster fucking maker my whole life. But I'm sure NeoMag, your flagship product, that's funding all of the cool projects now, all the stuff that you're working on. And it's very parallel business to ours, where the holsters are paying the bills. Now we get to do the cool shit. We're doing anvil, the optic mounts. We're doing a ton of R&D projects for mill. And at least where my heart needs to be is an R&D shop. And you're kind of like the same mentality. Sure. You love tinkering, you love solving problems, and you've solved some pretty fucking ridiculous problems, and you're getting ripped off by China just like I'm getting ripped off by China. So we made it, bro.
We did it. I guess that's supposed to be a pat on the back. Congrats, you're getting ripped off. And that's a whole other hour-long podcast rant. But no, I love making things. I love tinkering. And like I said, I love tinkering. I bought a CNC machine I didn't even know how to turn on, and stuck it in my garage and taught myself how to be a machinist. And I'm using air quotes for anybody that's not watching this, because I true machinist. I don't put myself on the same level as them, but I got myself proficient enough to be able to make things well enough to work. And so it's truly I'm so blessed to be able to, like, I have a table that I have taped off into squares, and each square has a different project and product idea and different various stages of completion. And that's my favorite table. That's my, like, I love going to look at that and be like, okay, here's what we have going on. And then once we launch something, once we launched the Alias, that came off the table. That was 2 years of tinkering with and working and taken a whole team here to really put our minds together to get that to where it is now. And then, yeah, there you go. And I love that product, and that product is the NeoMag took some time, and I launched it based on, I don't know, revision 2 or something like that. You know, it was working, and again, it was never planned on being a high volume product, so I didn't take the time to spend a year or two, like I did on the Alias, working on it. But the Alias is so much more complicated, and there's so much more to it. And we have, at the base engineering stage of that product, I have ideas for it, and that are years down the road. And so we're already trying to build in capability into a product and things that we know we aren't going to have the capability to work on for a long time. So there's so much work into that product, and just the product alone has years more of work in R&D and ideas and concepts and stuff like that. So yeah, just like you, I guess, to go back to say, I love R&D. I love my 3D printer. I love drawing things up and working with my machinist, and yeah, and then the payoff, right? When you get to see customers grab a hold of your product and get it, you know, like when they pick up your holster, when they pick up your optic riser and stuff, and they're like, I get it. There's a reason why you're doing this, and this solves these problems and stuff. Like when you see the light bulb come on in somebody's eyes, is why it's all worth it too.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. The Alias has been such a big part of my life since you guys let me demo it. And thank you again for creating the T-post assembly for our holsters. Because, when you guys sent me the sample pack, I was like, oh, this is gangster, but here's a limitation with our light bearing holsters because of the bump out, the blowout for ease of reholstering for a light bearing option. There's some limitations here, and we definitely don't want to retool specifically for this, but what can we do to remedy the solution and make it flat and whatever? And you guys made a super rapid turnaround that was also modular, so it fits other people's hold patterns. And not that it's a huge number. We've sold a couple hundred receivers, 400 or 500 T-posts already. Like, we're getting it out there. People are stoked. They're coming to us to buy, your product through us, because it's now part of our culture, and it's now part of our little sphere of influence. And it solves a lot of problems, because like you get people that are new to holsters and they overflex the belt clip. Like you only need to lift the belt clip just up enough to get over the belt. And Kydex has some flexibility, but it has its limitations because it's a thermoplastic. It has degradation of UV and heat and cold over time, and flexation will cause fatigue over time. It's plastic. As a kid, You're breaking a fucking coat hanger or something, you watch it shatter and you feel it heat up. That's like, it's a thermoplastic, so it gets hot fast. So that solves some of the fatigue issues that you no longer need because you're running the Alias. And like you have an alliance with, you have a business, a public business partnership with like Core Belts, right? Those are beautiful looking belts. We have kind of a principal partnership with Blue Alpha. So a little bit different, but still fantastic. You love Kurt. You guys are homies, right? So
those guys are my brothers, and we're actually little tease. We're working on a custom belt for a little more specific for the Alias. I'm not sure when it's going to be out, but we're doing that through Blue Alpha, and they're gonna be co-labeled with Blue Alpha. Those guys are not only amazing, make amazing products, but they are just some of the best people you will ever meet. Not just in the industry, best people that you'll ever meet too. So
them and Coltac, Dustin, Coleman,
absolutely.
and Lee
I love
Coleman.
Dustin.
Like, it's like Blue
Dustin's
Alpha, Blue Alpha, NeoMag, Coltac, ANR. Like, we've been friends for the better part of a decade. We all see eye to eye. Like, Dustin and I work on a daily basis together. I'm running Dustin's fucking production software for production tracking, and it's been amazing. You can, in a snapshot, quantify how much it costs this week to make a holster. So, Dustin, for anyone out there that's a production-based company that has employees that you're trying to, get metrics for costs, like hit up Coltec. They have a fucking awesome product that they have a sub company for, and we're using it.
Sent it over to me as well. Sorry to cut you off. He sent me over that too, and it didn't quite fit our needs, but it is a fantastic.
Well, it depends.
Software.
It depends how it was pitched to you. So, like, Dustin told me that it's a motivational software for his people. So he created a culture around it where they hit par times and all this other shit. We don't indoctrinate our employees into like, if you hit these numbers, you're good. Like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We use it more as, we don't use it as a motivational software. We use it as a software where, if someone's falling behind part times, we can use it as an opportunity to be like, yo, hey, what's going on, man? You're struggling a little this week to keep up. Is it a QC issue? Are things coming to you not correct and you're trying to correct them yourself, and that's why you're falling behind part times? What's going on? And we use it as more of like a situational awareness tool, rather than something that creates a motivational culture. Because I don't want people to constantly look at the screen and see if they're in the green, right? So we use it a little differently. But if it's used more on an admin level, rather than like them trying to be conscious of how they're performing, we don't want them to feel like we're breathing down their neck and seeing their performance. We're using it as like a snapshot tool to see, like, so we're using it differently from the way it was kind of incepted for Coltec, but it's working out really well for our needs. Especially when we launch a new product, we will track the new product through our system. We do basket. So we move everything in baskets of 12. So 12 orders, it's 12 pieces. So if there's 2 holsters on an order, that counts as 2 of the 12. So everything is metric being pushed through, and then we can quantify everything through that. So if we launch a new product and we're like, oh, we're doing this knife sheath for someone, we can actually, after we run a few baskets through production, we can quantify, okay, this is how much it costs, and we can consciously assess, profit margins with our customer that we're doing the OEM for, and make something that's reasonable for both parties, that we're both happy, right?
That's great.
Definitely try to. That was one thing that I was like a little bit, like, the way it was pitched to me, I was like, I don't want to use it for that. Like, I don't want people to be self-conscious about their abilities. Like, people are different, right?
Yeah.
You or I are always going to do something fucking 3.5 times faster than everyone else, where we are the masters of our trade. Like, you created your own niche product. I created our own production of holsters that's niche to me. I'm going to be better than everyone else. Right. Even not stepping onto the shop floor, I can do everyone's job better because I did fucking 80,000 holsters myself through each process at some point, right? And same with you through like assembly. I'm sure you can assemble NeoMags faster than anyone. I'm sure.
My guys now are pretty dang fast, but I'm sure I can keep up with them. And it's been a long time since I've done production assembly, but
damn, bro, I still hop on my shop floor. Fuck.
Every now and then I will, but I got enough stuff to do in here. So
I feel that so we have a folding area in our production line. And I'm really good at multitasking, so I'll have like 5 different SKUs in front of me, and I'm wheeling and dealing, timing, fucking all this shit, and I end up folding like 250 holsters in like 2 hours. And most of my shop guys are doing one-ops, so trying to teach how to wheel and deal and still have quality control is really fucking hard. So
for sure. And for me, part of the engineering isn't just the engineering of the product. I'm also trying to figure out the best way, and I'll work with my guys in the shop to figure out the best way to then assemble it. So I'm also going to engineer jigs. I'm also going to engineer, for Alias and NeoMag, I engineered and 3D printed jigs for those products. So it not only makes it easier to build them, but it also helps with the QC process. If things don't fit over the jig, then it's out of spec and the part's not good. So yeah, I'm also trying to figure out how to make the assembly part of things, easier, faster, more accurate, and that's that sort of thing. So yeah, it's not just coming up with an idea for a product. It's like, if you want it to be a production thing that you want to sell a bunch of, you got to think about the back end of it too, and get things built.
So did you go to school for engineering? What was your official, like, what's your background?
Yeah, so I went to a 2-year tech school for CAD. I think I have a associates in computer aided design, applied, something like that.
That's what that means.
But it's just
I never knew what CAD meant.
Well, so computer aided design is what CAD means.
I'm kidding, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't.
Yeah. Computer aided design. So, which back then, I was learning like AutoCAD R14 or something like that. Maybe 2001.
Those lines and that black
AutoCAD
background.
Oh, it's beautiful, dude. I'm probably one of very few people who I couldn't do it anymore, but I was 3D modeling in AutoCAD. AutoCAD was never really meant for that, but I figured out how to 3D model in it. And I think so. Then my first job out of college, I was doing, during college I did some civil engineering. I was a lowest rung guy. I was like connecting dots from the surveyors on a screen, whatever. And then, which actually, at that time, I really thought civil was going to be the way that I wanted to go. I think civil engineering is super fascinating. And then I went from there, I went from there, and then out of college got a job for a company that makes bushings for, actually, I designed, engineered a bushing that went on Humvees that like machine guns rested in and pivoted on.
That's super cool.
And that's super cool. I mean, those vehicles have been decommissioned for a while now, but there was a part on Humvees and that for machine gunners or whatever, a bushing that I designed.
What was the material? That's
one of the cool things. So there's one reason why they went through this company. I'm not sure if I should mention the company's name.
Don't.
It probably doesn't matter.
Don't.
I don't know if it matters, but they had a proprietary carbon. It was like a self-lubricating carbon. Ooh, basically is what it was. I know, right? And so we actually did our own compression and injection molding at that company too. I mean, it was the most basic part ever. It was like 6 circles, and it was the easiest thing. It took me 2 minutes to draw.
So what?
But right, it was still super cool.
You're proud of it, right?
Yeah,
that's
was
all
awesome.
That matters.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's all. Yeah, and but I only did that job for a couple of years because sitting at a desk for 40+ hours a week, I'm too active of a person. I like to, like we talked about before, I like to tinker, and sitting at a desk drawing circles was not my future. So I ended up getting a job at a retail display company, and I fell in love with that market. One, it's not super precision stuff, so I didn't really have to worry about too much about tolerancing things, which what I was doing before, we were dealing with crazy tolerances.
Like
so it was kind of nice.
Finishes, that kind of shit.
Yeah. So going to the point of purchase, POP is what they call it, point of purchase, and a little bit of exhibit design too. Now I got to work with, like, you name the material. Like, we were making things out of metal and plastics and wire and wood and all kind, like anything that it took to build a display and get a certain look, and then learning new types of there's such cool plastics and stuff out there. So
You're
I did kind of have to be, there you go.
Oh, I'm a loser. Dad jokes.
I can tell you're so I can tell you're a dad. And so so just I love that job because it was very hands-on. I was constantly prototyping things, and honestly, one of the best things I got out of that job, I hated it at the time. Best things I got out of that job is I had they let go, or our project manager or whatever quit, and so instead of hiring somebody, they decided to divide the job up against, like with the engineers. So I hated it at the time, but it's really become, I don't think we'd be where I am without that knowledge of knowing how to project manage, take a product from nothing through engineering, through prototyping, through production, because again, I was also helping the production shop with with designing jigs and that sort of thing if they needed it. And then also ordering materials and keeping track of where things are in progress for things that you're outsourcing, all that sort of thing. And then I ended up bouncing to another point of purchase job later and got to do even cooler things there. But that's basically my background. I was working at the point of purchase business when I had the idea for the NeoMag, and really it's because of relationships that I had built in that industry that when I needed something made out of sheet metal, I had a guy to call. I had a sheet metal guy. Right. And if I need something machined, I knew a machinist. And so I was able to be resourceful because of that background that I had. So I actually miss that job a little bit. If something ever happened and I had to go back to working for the man, I might look to go back to point of purchase design stuff. It was fun making displays. You could go into Walmart, anywhere probably in the world, look at like a Bose display. I designed that display.
That's awesome.
There's some high-end vacuums I did displays for, and tires and all kinds of things I did displays for. So it was pretty cool to be able to walk into a store, see a display that I made. So that's one of my favorite things about engineering is seeing the end user and the end product out in the wild.
Yeah, that's fucking rad. My brain's already thinking of like self-lubricating fucking bushings right now. Was it like circumferential with the grain going to it, and it would re-lubricate with oil under heat, something like that? Was it like a porous carbon that
they
drew like
they had several different kinds? I'll send you offline. I'll send you the website to the company, because I'm sure I remember they had several different types of this material. Some of them felt more like a carbon fiber, where or like a graphite infused. So it would just kind of.
What was the lubrication? Like, what was it? Grease,
itself,
oil?
like the material itself.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Right. Yeah. So think of like graphite. If you were to take a graphite chunk and just drill a hole through it, and then put a rod through it and spin that rod, that graphite would. It is a wear item. Eventually, it's gonna wear out of spec, and then. But
you're talking about like microns of graphite dust that's lubricating the shaft. Okay, cool.
Correct.
I like that. I like shafts.
Right. I get that. I mean, I'm more the bushing guy.
Damn, dude. Wait, hold on. Pause. I was a fucking warranty engineer for 44 million fucking radial axle seals. So I like shafts, which are shafts and seals are essentially bushings that just keep oil in and dirt out. So I'm there with you, just in a different style of bushing. No,
but now think about never having to worry about lubrication again.
Yeah, no, that's so that's like, right? Again, I just filmed a podcast with John Dufresne, Mocha Bear Actual, the other night, or last night. We talked about this a little bit, and I was like, damn, dude, like the reason why I got into engineering was guns, cars, watches, human applied lubrication. And it's only applied at some point in time, and then it's metal on metal doing things that metal on metal shouldn't do. Right. So,
right. Yeah.
So viscosities and even down to molding. Like I remember in elastomer injection molding for these seals, like even down to like the mold release. Like what mold release are we using to remove imperfections from the sealing surface of the rubber or whatever? And I don't know if you know, I don't know if we ever had this conversation, but I'm a sheet metal guy. I did sheet metal for 5 years. I designed commercial kitchen equipment, fryers, griddles, stuff like that, Popeyes stuff. And when I got there, they gave me like 60,000 parts. And I'm like, hey, finish this fucking fry later project. You have 6 months. And I'm like, I lied on my resume. I'm actually not good at SolidWorks. I was learned on Pro E. SolidWorks happened halfway through me getting my degree. I definitely lied on my resume. I can't CAD that, so I need help. So I spent like the first 2 weeks like learning SolidWorks like officially, because I I had a buddy that was really good at SolidWorks. He was a civil dude that took some ME classes, but he got into the ME classes when SolidWorks became the gold standard. And I was in Pro Engineer, and I don't know if you ever seen Pro Engineer, but that shit needs to die in a fire.
It does.
So for
SolidWorks is, especially SolidWorks sheet metal, is
the best.
Amazing. It is.
But you need to know your radiuses. You need to know your jigs,
your K factors, and all that.
Stop! I'm getting fucking PTSD, dude. Hey, oh yeah, what's your life cycle on your dies before the K factor wears it out? Like, it's fucking wild. But sheet metal is great. Like radius to gauge thickness. I mean, I love sheet metal. Was so much fun, and it was fun going into restaurants and seeing projects that I worked on that helped towards population control. So. You know, obesity. Yeah. I contributed to that, and it's pretty tight. So, dude, I didn't know that about your background. I don't think we've ever talked about our backgrounds together, so that's kind of cool. So you get a bunch of projects coming on, new projects. You're always tinkering. You're always working. I mean, the Alias is really cool. I was thinking like, oh, the springs. Like I took mine apart, and like the springs, they must have a jig. Like, yay. The Alias has become part of my life. It's one of those things where it's like so subconscious now, removing my gun from the Alias receiver and come home, see my kid, fucking go in the bedroom. I have like a little fucking tray that I drop my gun on. It's not a NeoMag tray. I wish I had one.
What?
And yeah, I need to get one from you, because I literally just throw my gun on my fucking dresser and it dents it, and I threw my keys and all that shit up there. Almost like I have a friend.
Now, do you go tray, or do you, because you have kids, do you use the Alias hard mount and put that hard mount inside of somewhere that you can close it up? So
my kid can't even fucking crawl. So
my
dresser's 5 feet tall, so that changes very quick. That kid will go from cruising to climbing on top of that thing in like a day. Well, I did realize that the dresser set that I bought for our master bedroom is a ladder. And I said to my wife the other day, I said, why this is why child furniture has really small, sharp knobs, because kids don't want to climb on it. But we literally have a fucking ladder in every room. And I did buy some investment piece fucking katanas, like through period katanas,
like guillotine sharp,
like guillotine sharp fucking Tamahagane blades. And I'm like, he can't climb, he fucking cut, So I don't leave them blade exposed. They're in their wood size, but it's one of those things. It's just like, oh, fuck, this house is so dangerous. I have an entire gear room downstairs filled with shit. And I already talked about putting like biometric doors on it and shit, but I was like, damn, the boiler and shit's back there, so if the kid's home alone when he's 12 and he doesn't know how to get in there, and there's a fire and he doesn't know how to get a fire extinguisher, fucked. So my head's spinning, dude. My kid can't even fucking sit up by himself, but I'm already in that mode.
Yeah, before you know it. So that's, I remember before we had kids, when we get furniture, the furniture comes usually with like a couple inches of webbing and then a wall anchor. I remember thinking, who the heck tethers their furniture to the wall? What kind of person would do that? Then you have a kid, and you see your kid trying to climb up your bookcase, which is a ladder, and you're like, oh, now I see why everything needs to be tethered to the walls.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, and we have a boot scooter. Like, our kid could flip himself over at 2 weeks old, and he had a bald spot in the back of his head by 3 weeks. And people are like, oh, your kid is on his back too much. Oh, I'm like, no. I see this kid mobile, and recorded him on the monitor, and like this all fucking night long. He went from bassinet to crib in 3 weeks. Full size
you're
crib.
In trouble, man.
We're fucked. We're fucked, dude. And he's not fat. He's super lean. But anyway, back to awesomeness. So what's your projections for the future? Like, how many new projects, without saying much, without saying what they are or what, but you've been on the forefront of innovation. You came up with that really cool rasp system, and for revolvers, you have the NeoMag, the Sentry strap. That's fucking neat. The Alias. I mean, you're problem solving on a minutia level, but
Yeah.
your minutia level problem solving is creating an entire new culture and technologies behind very simple things that people didn't realize they needed until they've experienced it, and they go, fuck. So like for me with the Sentry Strap, it's like I used to have these slings that we sell that have like a nylon keeper and a fucking a little elastic keeper. I fucking hated it because if I was in a vehicle class, it would take me 2 minutes to, not 2 minutes, but it would take me 30 seconds to drive the sling back into itself and tighten it down. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me start the course of fire again. Takes a lot of time. And same deal, we came out with our Ghidorah system, which is the 556 placard insert with a Tigris liner stiffener for kangaroo pouches, because I was like, oh my god, I'm taking a class and using a fucking chest rig and I'm stuffing mags in and I have to use two hands to spread the lips of the fucking elastic to get them in. It's annoying. How can I solve this with Kydex? And we did a project with Velocity System. So you're, again, you're making these very minutia level changes, but then they end up becoming part of a lifestyle change because
they're daily. I mean, maybe outside of Sentry Strap, it depends on where you are and how operator you are. But as far as like NeoMag and Alias especially they're daily things, and that's where I love improving daily life. What can I do to, for those of us who carry every single day, like that's the stuff that drives me nuts. It drove me nuts having a loose mag sideways and upside down in my pocket. So I wanted a better way to carry that every single day. And with the Alias, really that just started out as I wanted a better way to, it seems silly, like with all the technological advancement that we've had in this industry, we're still using basic plastic clips. I'm like, what can we do? Like, there's been advancement in holster design and holster construction. Why aren't we doing something with holster attachment? And then the idea just kept snowballing. Okay, what if we could do this? What if we could do that? What if it could be modular? And what if what if it could be right now, I'm not super secret about this, so I'll share. So we're working on a Alias OWB system.
Ooh.
And the current Alias system can work OWB, but we aren't encouraging it just because it's not meant for OWB forces. Things like the clip that goes into the receiver can bend. It's not meant to take forces pulling up on things because it goes inside your waistband. So we're working on OWB side of things. And as I've been showing people, so we just got back from Ohio Range Day, a big 2-day event, kind of like tactical training and all sorts of things. And I was showing a handful of people there and just watching their minds kind of get blown with the possibilities of what it's going to do. Because again, just like everything we do, especially with the Alias, it's not just going to be, hey, here's a way to attach something here. There's more to it. So I love taking daily interactions that we have with things in our lives, and improving it and trying to add possibility and capability and modularity and all that sort of thing. So, I would love to see the Alias, like the current Alias, and I feel like it's moving that way. I would love to see the Alias become one of the new standards in holster attachment. Like
It will.
when there's some great holster clips out there, and if the holster clip is what you need, then there are some fantastic holster clips out there. I would never tell everybody that everybody needs the Alias, but if you want, check out the capabilities of the Alias, and if it's something that can benefit you, then go for it. If not, your holster clips are the way to go. But yeah, so we're working on expanding Alias is really our biggest focus right now. There's so much more to it, and like you mentioned before, when you were like, hey, what if the top mount, what could you do to make the top mount work better on this? We are ready and equipped here to just on a dime stop. I'll hop on Fusion. I use Fusion 360 now. I can't afford SolidWorks. So I'll whip it up on Fusion, send the cam over to my machinist out of Fusion, and we'll hit the machine. I got a water jet and a laser guide nearby, and so we want to hear feedback of where people want to use the system and ideas and stuff, and we're ready to just take those ideas and just give those solutions to people. So the alias is really a big focus right now. I got a few other things. I mean, we just released a product last week, and it was kind of a goofy product. I don't know if you saw it. Call it the Tack Trap. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
So
I haven't been on social lately, other than to post.
No, you're good. So the Tack Trap, I have a total of like, I don't know, 3 hours of engineering in this thing. My machinist has a total of, I don't know, 8 hours. We've made a couple tweaks to it, but for the most part, so what it is we CNC machine out of 2 pieces of aluminum. Here we go. There's a Tack Trap.
Oh, so yeah, for gloves and stuff. I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, so this thing slides in the webbing of your OWB tactical belt, uses magnets to close shut. And is it the most mind-blowing product? I didn't think so, but seeing the reaction that some people have had on this, they think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So, I guess what this does over other belt hook things, just like a carabiner. Again, you can use a carabiner if a carabiner is all you need. But the thing that this does is this can open up and can allow you to have some temporary storage. Mm-hmm. Like, when you're out of the range, you want to take your ears off when the instructor's getting ready to talk. There are hooks that you can buy to put on your belt that you can hang your ear pro on. Well, this can open up and now be your temporary hook, or you can hang your gloves in it, your eye pro, ear pro, and you can close it up. The magnets hold it closed, and now it can become a little bit more of a permanent storage thing, like a carabiner. So it kind of bridges the gap between permanent and temporary storage on a belt. Is it the most mind-blowing thing ever? No, but it solves a product, or it solves a couple of issues and offers something that currently nothing else does. So, but honestly, this is just something I just woke up one day and had an idea, drew it up, sent it to my machinist, and we had a part in a couple of days. So I guess I bring that up because I have a table full of ideas and concepts of things, but then there's always things that pop up like this that just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just pop up and, hey, let's make that. So
I saw the advertisement for it, and you just said ear pro, eye pro, whatever. I didn't even think of that because I'm so fucking tunnel visioned, and I saw the gloves and I was like, well, I run Magpul patrols, and the only thing that fits in those holes is HK hooks, so I can't use that product. And it was funny because I run like the Blue Alpha Gear lanyard with the HK hook on it.
Yeah.
And I hated how long it was. And then today an ad popped up for Blue Alpha with their new Velcro lanyard that's tighter to the belt. And I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to make my own because I have a Juki sewing machine. Like, shit, and fuck, dude, so now I'm thinking iPro, fold up my iPro, I could hang in that clip like that. I didn't think about that. I like that. I like that a lot. I helped out with a gear bag that Coltac's producing for another company, and like I got the bag sample the other day, and I was like, oh, I'm making all these things for it. So I bought a sewing machine from Dustin a couple of years ago, and anytime a new nylon good comes out, I fucking mod it. And I was like, holy shit, before you release these, you need to make a couple mods to this bag. And they're cheap, like we're talking 30 cents and maybe 15 minutes per bag just to get them spun back up. And I made some changes, and now it's being implemented into the bag, and I'm super stoked. And so my guys are like, why does Alex have his fucking sewing machine in the middle of the shop? Like, what the fuck? I never see him use it. But then something comes up where I'm actually on a collaborative project and I'm fucking sitting there sewing. And I'm not great at sewing, but I can get the fucking job done. And my dog destroyed one of my new couch pillows the other day and just replaced the zipper because my mom unzipped it through the back. And I'm like, no. But, we're nerds. We can reverse engineer things and figure it out. Yeah. But yeah, dude, it's Sorry, what?
I got my mom's old sewing machine, and that thing helped make the Sentry strap. That thing helped. So we're actually working on like a Sentry strap V2. We got some ideas for that. So I've been messing. Like every once in a while, I'll bust out a sewing machine for something. I just recently used it on something else too.
Don't talk about a Sentry strap V2. I'm still trying to sell off our stock every time.
I don't. V1's not going anywhere. It's the V2 is going to offer some things V1 doesn't, but it's not going to be able to offer some things that V1 does.
Yes.
I'll just leave you with that.
Yes.
It's not going anywhere.
We just came out with the product for our slings, and then I was talking to Kyle Lamb, and he's like, let's do something with that, but I want to modify it. And I'm like, sewing machine.
Yeah.
So that's fucking rad. I mean, offline, you were just kind of spinning Alias shit, and now I have some projects for some soft units that I'm like, wait a minute. Alias can solve all these fucking problems that I'm having right now. So I already have some Alias change. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it on this fucking podcast. Yeah. But my mind is spiraling already because we're developing some products around some existing mounting solutions for explosives. We have a lot of inert explosives at the shop because we do a lot of soft projects. And again, it's something that people don't realize we do so much. We are an R&D whore for soft units that we work with. And pretty much, hey, what's your problem? Here's a solution. And that's kind of how we work. And it's stuff that I usually can't put on the gram. Actually, never can put on the gram. And destructive devices that someone's bringing by to show us.
Here's a bomb.
Here's a bomb. Neat. And I have a lot of inert explosives at the shop. No live explosives. Obviously, ATF, go fuck yourself. And a lot of these explosive companies, they have their inert versions so that companies like myself can prototype things for it. And I'm now seeing some opportunities for an Alias system modularity for some of the stuff that we're working on. So we have to obviously chat afterwards. But it's fucking cool. It's the Alias. It's one of those things that come home, like I said earlier, I come home and I just like subconsciously unplug my receptacle. It's on my belt, lives on my shorts. I wear the same pair of shorts for like 3 days, swap shorts, after my SWAS takes over. But same. But gun goes where Gunga lives, and it's so second nature now, the Alias system, unlocking it. I had some EU dudes by the shop the other day, and I'm showing them the Alias, saying like, you need to package these with the holsters you're buying from us. And I take it off real quick, and they're like, whoa, hold up, how the fuck did you do that? And I was like, oh shit, no, I didn't show you the underside of my groin area. Here you go.
Yeah.
And they were just like mind blown. Like, oh, well, does this work on like dress belts? Do you have a tuckable? Do they have a tuckable version? I was like, we can do whatever you want.
Yep.
And it is truly a game changer. And I'm so happy we kind of crossed paths at the same time that we did, because it's now becoming part of our supplemental income for our business is NeoMag products. So
isn't that cool that like you get to, because you guys are making things for other people too, but it's so wild that like we get to make products that not only feed our families, but it spills out into, like, I think about this all the time, and it's so cool that like these products we make not only get to feed my family, my employees' family, but there's also our suppliers that we buy stuff from. We're helping, feed them and their families, and then there's other companies that our dealers that we deal with. We're helping build their income and feed their family. I love capitalism, I guess is where I'm going with it. It's awesome.
Capitalism's gangster, but I really appreciate how you just worded that. So a lot of times people will add, I do a lot of AMAs. You've seen them. Most people listening might have seen them, but like, ask me questions on Instagram. And a lot of times people ask like, what's your favorite part of your business? Honestly, my fucking favorite part of this entire thing, because I said earlier, never thought I'd be making holsters for a living, but I'm good at it. My favorite part, and I'm sure this is your favorite part from just the verbiage that you just used, is creating opportunities for people, putting food on the table, creating careers for people. And we pride ourselves on like our benefits. We do like a 70% paid gold PPO plan that we pay. 70% we pay if they're healthcare. All new hires, 40 hours of PTO. We do 5% matching 401k, which is pretty much unheard of unless you work at like a bank or a financial institution. Like, I want to provide benefits that I was never provided as an engineer, high paid engineer at $1 billion company. And I was getting 1.25% matching 401k after 3 years vested. We vest after 90 days. Because it's like, you're already committing yourself to our brand. And we're very, very fucking picky who we hire. We don't just hire, if we're desperate for a person, we just don't hire a fucking person. We do pick people that want to be part of the work culture, because if they don't, they're never going to fit in and it's never going to work out. But we give these benefits because I want people to come to work happy. I want people to come to work and be like, man, even if I had a rough day, I'm excited to go to work tomorrow because it's a new day, and not every day is perfect. We try our best, but like knowing that we're providing for dudes and giving them the best possible opportunities that we can for such a small business. And like, federal law says you don't have to do any of this shit for people until you hit 50 employees. We have 14 employees. You have 6, you said? Like, yeah. We try to offer the best that we can afford, which is more than these billion fucking dollar super hyper wealthy companies where the CEOs are taking ridiculous raises every year, and rather than putting it back and investing into the lowest common denominator of the shop. And that's not a rude, I don't mean that in a rude way. I mean, you have janitors and maid services that might clean bathrooms or whatever. Like, if you can give back to your entire population at $1 billion company, you should be. And and one thing my buddy Breck said to me, when we found out they were expecting our child, he said, you need to be the best boss that you can be, because obviously you can't be the best boss every day, and people do fuck up and people make mistakes. But if you can be the best boss you can, and the leadership that you have within your business can be the best that they can, and your staff goes home not stressed out, not upset, not dealing with shit at work, they're not going to neglect their families. They're not going to go home and pop a bottle and not spend time with their kid or their pets or their wife, and they just want to get drunk and fucking forget the day. And you're ruining lives just by being a shitty dude, at a shop. And he's like, just remember that, like, I've had miserable bosses and you seem like a fucking good one. But just remember, every day, you be the best that you can to your staff so that they don't go home fucked up, because they will neglect their families. And I think that was great advice for anyone,
for sure. Yeah. Treat people just want to be, people want to be appreciated, going somewhere where you don't, we spend a good chunk of our lives at our job. So to go to a job where you're unhappy and you're not appreciated and you're not treated fair, you're asking that person to spend a good chunk of their lives being mistreated, basically. So do the best you can, because let's be honest, at the end of the year, when we look at our P&L, seeing a big number there at the end of the year, but having a bunch of unhappy people that are working for you, nobody wins. You don't even really win having a big number on that P&L at the end of the year. Like, that money's not doing anything, to a sense. But when you have, like, if you saw that number was lower, you ought to be still want to be in the positive. I'm not saying going debt necessarily, but yeah, just if that number matters more to you than the people that work for you, then there's some problems there. And one of the things, which I agree with you, do the best you can to take care of your employees financially, but create an atmosphere that they want to come to. We have, what Can Jam is?
Yep.
Like, if we've Can Jam in the lobby here, and every once in a while I'll just grab it. Like, I'll run around the shop, tell everybody to stop working and follow me outside. We're gonna play Can Jam for a while, or I'll take everybody to a movie, or buy breakfast every Friday or something like that. Just do things so people feel appreciated. Be cool, and and maybe some of it's selfish too. I want to go somewhere that that I can do those things too. So there's some really simple things that you can do. Take a break from. Let your assembly team take a break from putting screws through holes for a little while and go have some fun. They're gonna work harder when they're there than if you just make them sit at a table and put screws through holes all day.
Yeah, I like a lot of our staff does look up to me as a shooter. They want instruction, and it's been tough with my kid and my wife right now just because we have a newborn. But I want to get back into that cycle where, once every couple months of taking to the range, giving them some homework. Yeah. They really appreciate that. If it's birthdays, I buy lunch for the shop. Everyone gets to pick what they want for their birthday and me. We do throw like a Christmas party or Halloween party. It depends on what's most convenient for everybody and the weather, because we're in New Hampshire. So we do throw some events. I definitely 2023 is going to be the year of motivational events for the guys. I want to do more for the guys and gals at the shop. No gals, but obviously we are an equal opportunity workplace. But I definitely want to do more. It's just we're in one of those limbo years where growth is huge, but we have a lot of overhead. So we're in that one of those like keeping up with demand. Like we finally found a recipe for success to be hyper visible on social media, as well as, well, not social media, but more on like Google search and stuff like that. We finally found the secret sauce. So this year, we're actually more successful in sales than we've ever have been. And it's not like, you remember COVID, where like you had like a really good day and a really bad day, a really good day, a really bad day, a couple bad days, really good day. Like how it was like fear-based spending. And it was really sad. And now we kind of fall into this like super consistent echelon tier or so, where we're like, oh my God, this is definitely where we need to be. We're really happy. It's super consistent. We don't have those low lows or there's super high highs. Like we're having like super consistent, slow and steady exponential growth as a business, but we're still up over a significant percent over our jump from COVID. And during COVID, we jumped 300% sales. Yeah. And now we're still hyper growing, and it's fucking rad. So we're in a really good spot, but we're in one of those places where like we're spending a lot of money too. So we're expanding retail. So we sell your products, we sell Coltac products, we sell slings, we sell mod lights, Surefire, Streamlight. We sell support products to our actual manufactured goods. So oh my God, we sell holsters. Why aren't we selling weapon mounted lights that support those holsters? We sell optic mounts. Why aren't we selling optics that go to those optic mounts? So we've spent a lot of retail, so, and retails, and now is like 50% of our annual sales is retail on holster. And it's great. It's fucking where we need to be. Yeah. So that's great. Yeah. So like Kurt and I are working on like a battle belt builder project right now, where it's like a one-stop shop. You can build out your belt, build out, all the kit that you want to put on your belt. Because one of our most common questions is like, oh damn, where do I start with battle belt? Oh, you guys make a one-stop shop holster drop system. Okay, that's cool. You make mag carriers, but all the rest of the shit, what are you doing? Like, where do I get it? What do you recommend? What's your favorite knife on a belt? And we want to advertise things to people that like affordable stuff, but still giving them quality tier gear. So we just partnered up with Hogue. Neil's a good friend, and we got CAD. So we're doing their number 1 and 2 battle belt style fighting / survival knives. We're going to be making like a knife sheath builder for those. So you can go on, buy the knife, which is already like more affordable than all the Gucci brands. You can get a custom sheath, and then you can get like, it's a one-stop shop now. So you can pick the kit, like all one color. Like, oh, I want wolf gray. And at the end of this builder, once you place your order, you end up getting an opportunity, you get an email discount code over to Blue Alpha Gear. So we're working on that so that it's like, shit, I want to build out my battle belt. I don't even know where to fucking start. Oh my God, they have a battle belt builder where I can pick every element that I've always, like, that Alex recommends, ANR recommends for a battle belt. Kind of built it in my vision. And then at the end of it, they get their discount to purchase the belt that it all fits. So we're trying to make it kind of simple for everyone.
Doing cross company, we're big in that too. We love and it's something that I want to spend more time working on too. But doing cross company, we've also stepped up our supporting products this year too, and so and I definitely have seen a big benefit there. I mean, we've had a couple like big department orders where they came for NeoMags, but they saw we had some of these other things, so they just order these other products too. So so it's worked out in a lot of different ways. I mean, it also helps with your SEO and all sorts of things. But it's cool to hear that that you guys are working on that together, and so you get some cross business support there is great.
Yeah, it's cross-pollination, backlinks to each other's sites that helps for visibility. And you need those alliances. It's important. It shows not only it vets you as a business, but it also shows, you're open to other, you're just not absolute, right? Yeah. And nothing's absolute. Like, someone's like, well, what, I think my least favorite question, I don't know if you ever get anything like this, but it's like, what makes your holster better than this person's holster? And I hate to say it, but I don't fucking, we're probably, some companies and some business people might laugh, but I don't go out of my way to buy other people's shit. Not calling their shit, but I don't, lames man term shit, but I don't buy other people's stuff to see what they're doing, to see how we can be better. Like, I already have my vision for our products. I don't want someone else's ideas in my head clouding my vision. I want to produce what I want to fucking produce. I don't give a fuck if this company here is doing this. If that works for them and they like doing that, fucking good for them. We've figured out our bread and butter. We figured out our process, and I don't want to fucking change it. And, that's one of the things is, like, I had a guy that worked for me. He's like, why aren't you buying other people's stuff and, like, figure out where their shit sucks? And I was like, no, we should be minutia modifying our stuff. So elements that we think might suck, we change, we get rid of, we phase out, we revise. Like, no, you don't want to be influenced by somebody else. And you're such a unique brand that I doubt you've ever been asked, but I mean, you're so niche in a good way. Like, there's no one, is there anyone else other than the ripoff brands that are touching into your world? Because I've seen the ads on Instagram for, like, the fake Sentry straps and shit, and I'm like, pretending to be someone else,
I'm not even so convinced that the knockoffs are even really digging into our sales or whatever, if that's what you're asking. The NeoMag, the NeoMag wasn't even the first pocket mag carrier on the market. The Snag Mag was out, but it didn't do exactly what I wanted to do. So I came up with something completely different. Yeah, it does. It carries a mag in the pocket, but how it does it is completely different. And actually, me and Dusty just did a Whiskey Wednesday, a shameless plug. If you're on YouTube, go to our channel and look at Whiskey Wednesdays and some of the other stuff that we do on there. But we just did Whiskey Wednesday where we talked about copies versus competitors. And there is, as long as it's not like a complete one-to-one copy, which would be a knockoff, I don't really care. If somebody else comes up with another method of holding a magazine in a pocket that's different, good on you. Because frankly, that product is going to have pros over my product, and that product's going to have cons that my product has. So Um, so far, there's not really been anything like even the direct knockoffs. I don't think the people that want to spend $9.99 on a Chinese made NeoMag are were never going to be my customer to begin with. But some of them turn into my customer because we often hear from people, I bought the Chinese knockoff, it fell apart within the first couple of weeks, but I like the idea, so now I'm buying yours. I'm buying the real thing. So there could be an argument that the knockoffs are actually getting me customers because the knockoffs suck. But yeah, I mean, I I like to have some industry awareness, right? Like I like to see what are trends, what are things that are people doing. I love seeing when other companies come up with cool ideas and concepts to solve weird issues like we do. I love that. Yeah, every now and then I get you know, I get that. I wish I thought of that thing. And but for the most part, like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, yes, you want to stay. I hate using the term "stay in your lane," but keep improving and making your product the best that it can be. And don't. One thing is I was going to say that I appreciated hearing you say earlier. I think we're similar in this is we will, whether it's our product or helping somebody else with their product, we're never really 100% uh, happy with that product. Like, okay, this is great, but how can it be better? Right? Um, and I mean, there was, gosh, we in the 2 years working on the Alias, just the receiver, I think we had probably 50 different versions or uh, and updates and revisions and stuff because we would come up with something, be like, "Yep, this is it, this is awesome," and then we'd make it, and then another idea would come to make it even better, or maybe it's a better way to manufacture it, so we need to make some changes or something. So, um, like when you came to us and you wanted a different top mount, like there was no offense to what our current top mount isn't good enough for you. No, it was okay. Let's see if we can make something better. And so I think there's that marriage of working hard on your own thing, but then also don't be so attached to it that you aren't willing to to look at it and ask how could it be better, because you know there's a good chance that someone else could be working on something that's better than your thing right now. Who knows? But
And I appreciate your perspective too, because I have like no chill. I straight up go like, call Desi like, I don't like this. This fucking sucks for our holsters. How can you make this better? Like, and I know that you're not gonna get offended by it. I know, and I remember those photos. I put like the original like aluminum receiver behind it to show it needs to be closer to this. It needs how do we keep it as tight to the holster as possible so it's not pushing the belt out away from the body, because then now the belt is a concealment issue. And you such a simple solution that just fucking works so goddamn well. And I mean, for you it's now one part. And we don't even buy the hardware. We provide our own hardware. We just get the fucking,
yeah, no, they're a dream now.
So, and I'm just like, fucking, please send me 300 of them now. Like, and I know that you don't get offended by that shit because we have like similar mindset where it's just like, okay, we're just looking for solutions. We've identified an issue for our specific product. How do we fucking overcome this? And, and that's how we operate. And I like that about you. I've always liked that about you. We kind of like both have this deadpan stare sometimes at each other. We're just thinking, we're always in our heads. We're always fidgeting. And I think that's great. And I love that. And what I'm also seeing too is like this affinity between brands that have all started at the same time. You, me, Coltac, Blue Alpha. You probably have that relationship with Core. I've never met the Core Central guys, but we all kind of started and incepted around the same 2 or 3 year window. And because of that, we're all on social media at the same time, and we're all in the same circles at some point. And then you find each other, and you're like, damn, like these dudes are just like golden hearted, trying to do something cool for themselves, their families, their lives. and you know, owning a company is cool as fuck. Like it opens doors. I don't ever save for a I'm always putting money into our house or whatever the fuck, and I don't save for vacations. I'm not like I don't have a family like you do. You have a huge family comparatively to ours, and you know, I'm not at that point yet where I'm like, okay, squirreling away money for like, oh, we're gonna go do this as a family. I haven't got to that point yet, but even with my wife, I'm like, hey, shit, like let's go to London. Like let's go to DSEI in London. You know, you represent, my wife is really good on putting on work face. Like she's gone to NRA shows and hopped into other people's booths and thrown on a fucking like breakthrough clean. She threw on a breakthrough clean top because they were understaffed and was like, fuck it, just give me a quick rundown on the product and I will share it with the people. So my wife's like cool as fuck. She's like, okay, well, you're going to do business, I'm going to help out Eric with breakthrough clean, and I'm just going to be one of their booth girls, you know, sharing the product with people as much as I can. And my wife's like intimidating to people. She's tall, she's tattooed, so if like a guy hits on her, she's like, fuck you, I'll kill you. Like I'm carrying a gun, fuck off. Like so
if she's gonna be a SHOT Show this year, we could use some help. So if you want to drop,
nope, not going to SHOT. She's she went to SHOT once and she was like, this sucks, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, it does, but
no, I'm like SHOT Show, I become a creature. Different human. That shows I become a creature. Probably why you didn't see me. Is I at shows I operate on so little and do so much, and I'm so goal oriented. And another thing with like, I'll be at like SIG. Hey, we have this military unit from X country that needs your shit for our shit. You'd be here in like 5 minutes. It's like, oh, hey guys, I'm in the middle of a meeting with this foreign country's MOD. Hey, you guys finish up here, I gotta bounce, you know. And I'm just like I'm essentially like on call. You know, I have like, we purposefully schedule our meetings for like OEMs and white labels for like noon and after, like after lunch. But you know, I got my random ones where like this is the first year that this past year, or actually this year was the first year we stayed in the Venetian, which I'm like, oh my god, why didn't we do this before? We should show up like an entourage, and now I'm just like, nope, it's just me and Johnny, my business partner.
Just roll downstairs.
Have meetings. You know, we had meetings with an a couple of EU countries in our suite, cleaned it up, put everything out, displayed it on the table, sat down, had talks, and man, I will never not do that again. Fuck, I should probably book soon. Fuck, it's booking time.
I started looking at that last week. Dude, you know what's crazy? If you go to, and we're kind of weirdly off topic here. If you go to Venetian's website and you look at rooms, the 3 or 4 days of SHOT Show, the room goes from like $260 to $1,000 a night. But if you go through SHOT Show's website, which actually that reminds me, I never actually did follow through and check out or anything. With the SHOT Show fees or whatever, it's way more reasonable. So yeah, don't go straight through Venetian, go through the SHOT Show's website.
So I fucked up last year and didn't go through SHOT Show's website because they won't let you pick your actual room. It's still a roll of the dice through SHOT Show's website. It's like you don't get to like tailor it as well as you could. The Venetian allows you to tailor your room a little bit better. And so at the time I didn't, but by the time I went back to the SHOT Show website, it was booked. I was like, fuck. You know, this is like September. Yeah. No, it was end of October. And I was like, fuck, oh, we missed it. And basically told me like, you can get a 2-bedroom, but it's going to be shitty, essentially, is what the SHOT Show website was telling me. And then after I like went and got all the way to checkout, and then I went on the Venetian website and built out our room, it was only a difference of like $500 for the week. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go Venetian and tailor it. Better view, this, that, and another. I don't want to look at someone's dirty asshole behind a fucking AC unit or whatever. But I'm gonna try to go through SHOT this time. But man, they've been getting tough. And oh, dude, the cost of so the year before with COVID, when they were gonna do it, but COVID and they were limiting attendance, they basically told us like, you have to buy a booth if you want to go. You've attended 8 years of SHOT Show in a row. You're a non-exhibiting manufacturer. last year's passes or this year's passes were $775 a pop. And when I first went to SHOT Show as a non-exhibiting manufacturer, they were $74 a piece.
Yeah, I think I remember in 2015 I started going. I thought I remember paying, maybe $100 or something.
Yes, I remember. But it's still like $75 a pop if you're like a gun store employee.
Right.
Stupid.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking now. I mean, it's still over $2,500 to get a room for the week because we have a booth, so we need Monday to set up, shows Tuesday through Friday, fly out Saturday. I think we usually get in Sunday. No, I take it back. Almost $3,000. No, wait, how am I doing this right? Check out Saturday. Okay, yeah, $2,500.
That's how much we paid for the week for the two of us, and we booked late through the Venetian, so it wasn't bad. But it was just two of us. How many people are you going with? Just you and Dusty, or more?
There's three of us. Me, Dusty, and Nate.
Okay, cool. So that's not terrible.
No, so the thing that you have to weigh out: do you want the convenience of being at the Venetian, sharing a small room, or you can get a whole house off the strip with a pool and your own bedroom and all kinds of stuff for about the same price, if not less.
Way cheaper.
Yeah, you're gonna have to Uber. Yeah. Oh, I mean, you can get like a super nice house for for $3,000 for the week, but yeah. After last year, we stayed at the Venetian, and it was amazing just to wake up, put some pants on, and go downstairs to the show. So that's what I'll be doing.
Yes. Problem is, my business partner get drunk and hits the fucking mini bar. I'm like, dude, you can just go downstairs. He's like, no, I'm too lazy. Fucker. We've always rented houses like that. Sleep 14, $1,200 for 5 or for 7 days. We have more than enough rooms than we need. We whore them out a little bit to our friends, but yeah, the Uber rides, they're usually 2 miles off strip, 16-minute rides in, 16-minute rides out, dealing with traffic in and out after the show, scarfing down leftovers of pizza and not having good meals and trying to shave time where you can. We stayed in the Venetian this year, and it was like, oh my god, let's go down to Hong Kong Cafe and have a fantastic Chinese dinner. Let's go to this restaurant. Oh, we've already booked out restaurants for the week. And yeah, you're paying a little bit more for food, but you also don't feel like garbage. You're not eating garbage. You're not stressed out and struggling and waiting at the fucking Uber pickup at 3:00 in the morning under the ceramic heaters, talking to a prostitute to pass the time.
It smells like weed out there, and which maybe you're into that. I don't really care for the smell of weed, so yeah, but the whole strip smells like weed now. And it's just for us, none of us are drinkers truly. Like I'm a big bourbon guy, but I don't get drunk, and neither does neither does Nate or Dusty. But Dusty is Mr. Social. He actually loves a circle bar.
Dusty doesn't get drunk. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So me and Dusty, so me and Nate go to bed at a reasonable time, and Dusty stumbles upstairs about the same time we're getting ready to go downstairs.
He stumbles upstairs sober.
He does, but he stumbles because he's been up all night. Yeah.
No, Greg, you can. It's okay. We won't throw Dusty under the bus, but pretty sure I've heard Dusty go, "I'm so drunk." At least once. I'm fucking a high functioning drunk. It's funny where I've had like people. I don't care. It's Vegas. We're getting drunk, guys. If you're listening, it's not a crime to get drunk. It's not a sin to get drunk. But it's funny because I've bumped into people at Circle Bar, and they're like, "Oh my god, thank you so much for that introduction with this person. That was so great." And I'm like, "Wait, we saw each other last night?" They're like, "Dude, I was sober. You were drunk?" I was like, No, not at all. And they're like, "Oh, damn, dude. Man, you're very composed." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just always in business mode." But yeah, dude, SHOT Show is a fucking mind warp. You're there, you're enjoying yourself, you're seeing each other, you're seeing your friends, and then like halfway through the week, you're like, "Fuck, I just want to go home. Just want to go home to my family."
Yeah, I miss my family. I miss not having to walk through cigarette smoked to go to my room. I do. I look forward to. I look forward to going to SHOT Show now. I don't. If it was anywhere else, I would be just as happy. I don't really care about Vegas. I don't care about the Strip. I do really enjoy getting to see all of our industry friends and getting to go see the spectacle of, hopefully agency has their after party thing again this year, and just just all that stuff. It's fun meeting people and getting to see new people, make new friends. It's really all about the people, and I do want to try to get there a day early so I can actually go out to Red Rocks and spend the day getting some fresh air. And
It's so nice out there, dude. You've never been?
It's beautiful there. Yeah. No, I have.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, good.
It just, but to do it during SHOT Show week, that's another day. It's another night at the hotel, all that stuff. But like last year, we rolled in, I think like Sunday night, and Monday we were up and at it working on our booth. By the time we were done setting up our booth, it wasn't that late in the day, but by the time we were done, we were cooked. And then it was showtime. And we actually realized it had been like 3 days and we hadn't stepped outside of the Venetian. I'm not built for that. So that makes it a long week when you realize it's been 3 days and you haven't had fresh air. That's when things start getting rough and you start looking forward to go home. When it gets like Thursday, I'm done.
We leave on Friday, dude. We don't even stick around. We fly in Sunday, chill a nice easy Sunday night with all the vendors. Monday morning sleep in, don't do fucking anything, try to get a really good meal to kick off the week, and then we leave Friday. It's easier in the airport. I know that you guys are showing. We can leave Friday.
If we didn't show, dude, if I wasn't showing, I'd probably roll in Tuesday, leave Friday.
We tried shortening it up, but then we realized we don't have enough time for everything.
Sure.
And with respect to our bodies, we'd rather have that shift slide where we go to bed late, wake up late, and get it done that way. But I mean, I think this year was like the way to do it. It's the way. But I mean, even when you stay outside the Venetian though, and you're in an Airbnb, and you're it's such a time warp just going in and out of the Venetian and trying to get there. And like Vegas is like, it reminds me of like an old Wile E. Coyote Looney Tune cartoon, because as it's side scrolling background in Wile E. Coyote, where it's like you see the same cactus fly by,
just the same thing over and over again.
So it's like Vegas is like that. You have like a shitty strip mall with your Walgreens, like a fucking Arby's and something else, and then like an empty vacant lot of desert, and then a gated community that is hood as fuck and people are getting murdered in. But Vegas does such a good job keeping everything trash free because they don't want tourists to be uncomfortable knowing that they're going through like a cartel land. And it's basically those three plots rinse and repeated all the way to the fucking mountains. And you get to that point where you're just like, wait, didn't we just pass that same fucking strip mall? No, we're still on Flamingo. Oh no, like it's just that's how it is. It's rinse and repeat these micro climates, little micro communities, little bubbles, and those people don't leave those little bubbles because it's the same shit everywhere you go. It's also, I feel bad for the people that live in Vegas too, because it's like literally if you're off strip, you're in your bubble. You don't leave your bubble, and there's a shopping center there and your pharmacy, and like you're kind of like, you just don't leave, and it's kind of sad.
When you talk to people that when you talk to people that live there, they don't go to the strip. They stay as far away as they can from there, which I would do the same thing, but it's a nice place to visit for a week once a year. And unfortunately, pretty much every time I've been there, it's for work. I did go last summer. A bunch of our friends turned 40, so we all went out to Vegas because most of them hadn't been there before. And the nice thing was I'd been there a bunch of times, so I could kind of be the tour guide. And frankly, the other reason I go to Vegas is to eat. I love to eat. I'm probably borderline a foodie, if you want to use that. I love good food, and you can get whatever you want, and it's going to be the best of that food that you can get. So so I have my excuse me. So I have my handful of restaurants that are a must go to every year. And like, you ever been to the Ghost Donkey?
No.
Have you heard of that place?
No.
All right.
Can we go together?
Yes, and maybe our group could fit in there. It is probably the size of my office. It's a tiny little thing that no one would ever find. The first time I tried to find this place, we walked around and we had to walk past it a dozen times. It's this hidden door in the back corner of this other like food court area or something like that. I think it's in the plaza. I don't remember. But anyway, stuff like that. Like I like finding these cool little spots to go eat. I like to go to Delmonico's and get a crazy expensive steak once a year.
Never been.
Oh man.
I didn't make a reservation in advance, and I will next time. Dude, hidden treasure, Hong Kong cafe, empty as fuck, little Chinese joint. So my buddy's over at Beretta. He's a VP of something. Just gonna keep anonymity here, and we're sitting there, and it's me, Johnny, my buddy Timmy. Timmy is a company called ET Gear Co, and I'm kind of like mentoring him, so he shadowed us at SHOT Show to kind of get the vibe, and he got to go to some crazy high level meetings with us and was like mind blown. But we meet my buddy there from Beretta, and we're sitting there, and we've already had a couple drinks, and he shows up, and this small, little your quintessential like old Chinese gentleman comes over to serve us, and he's older, right? Real nice white apron, comes over and introduces himself, and we put an order in, and our guest from Beretta hadn't showed up yet. And I know my buddy because he used to work at Black & Decker before he was in the gun community. We shot PRS together. So we have a relationship prior to him being in the gun industry. And I completely forgot that he lived in China for 3 years. So we're all sitting there talking, and he was like, hey, what'd you order? I was like, well, I put some orders in for these dumplings in this app and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, hold on, I got this. But the second the waiter comes over, my buddy slouches across the table, kind of all like cozy and shit, and just starts fucking ripping Mandarin. And we're like, what the fuck is going on right now? And my buddy's like the whitest dude ever. And he's just tearing out Mandarin and having a laugh with our waiter. And we're just like,
like, where am I right now?
And then Johnny, my business partner, goes, you speak Mandarin? And he was like, yeah, shit, Alex didn't tell you I lived in China for 3 years. And I was like, fuck, dude, I completely forgot. And he's like, so everything you ordered was great, but I doubled this order, I canceled that order, I added this to it, and then I ordered Mapo, but I asked it for extra spicy, secret recipe, let's do it. So I bring out Mapo. Mapo's like every grandma in China fucking makes this recipe. It's like a tofu dish, and it's like a brown sauce with like peas and other veggies. But whatever chilies that the Hong Kong cafe used in it only attack your taste buds. So we're eating these fucking this spicy tofu dish. It's the first app that comes out, and the chilies that they used just cause you to fucking ferociously salivate. And I'm like, man, this is weird. It's like a citrusy burn. So we finished the Mapo, or we're like picking at it, and we start eating the dumplings. And whatever this chili did to our tongues, it like allowed us to separate the flavor profiles of the fats and the salts and the meats and the dough of this dumplings. And I've never tasted dumplings so beautifully. We had a couple different dishes. We had like jellyfish, which was weird. I won't ever order that again. And yeah, no, shit you not, like pickled jellyfish, weird. I can't do it. It's like boogies. Anyway, but we tried it, and everything was amazing but the jellyfish. And then we had like a whole grain rice tapioca coconut tapioca with mangoes on it. And I've never tasted, I'm not a huge fan of tapioca, but this was like flavor explosion. All the sours and sweets of the mango. It was like, holy fuck, it was unreal. One of the best meals I've ever had, and it's all because of that chili. So we're talking, and I guess at the Cosmo, that they used to have that fucking party at the Cosmos, that bar, that glass bar at the corner. I think you've showed up there a couple times. I don't know if they have it anymore.
Chandelier bar?
Yeah, the Chandelier bar. So that bar is actually famous for their margarita. So if you were to sip their margarita without eating this little, like, it looks like a mini lemon on like a little stem, if you were to sip that margarita, I guess it tastes. I haven't tried it. A friend was explaining it to me. The margarita tastes like absolute shit, like just horrible flavors. But you eat this, you chew the seed and you mash it around in your mouth, and it flares your taste buds, and then you drink the margarita, and I guess it's like the most amazing margarita you've ever had. And that little seed augments the flavors and then makes everything bold. So it's a similar experience. So gastro food and stuff like that. So I definitely want to try the margarita this next year, and I definitely need to go back to fucking Hong Kong Cafe. But that's one of those experiences. Or
so the Ghost Donkey is at the Cosmo. So go to go do your thing with the margarita, and then go upstairs and wow, choking. And go upstairs and ask how to find the Ghost Donkey, or I'll take you there. Let's go do margaritas at Chandelier Bar, and then we'll go to Ghost Donkey and get tacos.
Let's fucking do it. Have you ever done Taco El Gordo?
Not that I can recall.
That is the quintessential taco joint. Like it, La Migra is out front scooping dudes up. It's they've got a cow's head floating in au jus, and they're just peeling cheek meat off of it and throwing it on your taco. That's the fucking go. I wish I spoke Spanish because I have no idea what I'm ordering. I just like, fried pig intestines. Give me that. That's another pretty good taco experience. But you need a gun to go. It's pretty. Yeah. It gets weird, especially late at night. Let's do it. Let's do Ghost Donkey, bro.
I love all that stuff. I love taste and flavors and different cultures. I've figured out different ways to do crazy things like that. I love all that stuff. I'll eat just about anything once or twice, and most things over and over again. I should be fatter than I am because I love, especially tacos.
I mean, you look beautiful. I eat tacos every day.
I love tacos.
We have like a TJ style fucking taco joint in the bottom of a 3-family 3-decker on the shittiest, most violent neighborhood in our city where our shop is. And we have the best fucking tacos, dude. I literally eat tacos every day they're fucking open. That, I'm craving it pretty much every day. And I lost a ton of weight just being on a taco diet.
Yeah, so you lost weight. Thanks. Hey, if you can figure out how to lose weight on taco diet that's not because of diarrhea, then you're onto something.
Never had diarrhea from this place, and I have had a lot of them. So
yeah. Well, I'm on first name basis with the owners of the taco place across the road from me too. So
that's awesome.
It's like cheers. I walk in there like, hey Greg, you want the huge? Yep, I do. Probably 2 of them.
Yep. I'm on the usual where I don't have to give my name when I call it in, but they definitely don't give a fuck what my name is. So they're just like, oh, you're going to buy tacos every day. Cool. Let's take your money.
You're the taco guy.
I'm the taco guy. But anyway, we've diverged into food, which is great. This podcast is about not just our businesses, but kind of like brought us here and what your core values are and stuff like that. So that's one of the things I pride myself on this podcast. It's like, cool, we can talk about your business all day. A lot of these companies have had podcasts where they just talk about the same shit on different podcasts with different people, and it becomes redundant. But I'm glad we've diverged into food and design and whatnot. We're rounding the turn on an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we definitely need to do a round 2 at some point, but I figured this might be a great opportunity to start closing up our lovely conversation with each other. What would you like to say to people listening? Anything you'd like to close with? Let you take it away.
I do the usual shout out. If you guys want to go check out our products, our website is theneomag.com. Check out our IG. That's where we're most active on social media. We've been doing a lot more YouTube stuff this year too. And check out our products. We love, I'll give us a shout out. Shout me out. Hit me in the DMs, something like that. If you listen to this, I love connecting with people and seeing if we can solve your issues. But more than anything, we are a community of people who need to find common ground and stick together, because we are under fire by our own government, and the last thing we need to do is is being under fire against each other in our community. We need to band together. So all about the people and the community, and we do that through our products is our bread and butter. But again, what it really comes down to, if you were to ask Dusty, he'd say the same thing. It really comes down to the relationships that we have with industry people, but also events like we just came from, like a big tactical range day with people training. We love being out, and we're shooters too, and we love to train, and so we'd love if you check us out.
Yeah, and I will back that up. You guys are great people. We've always appreciated our friendship with you guys. Dusty is his own whimsical, mythical creature. My wife finds Dusty to be the most adorable. I think that video of you waking him up when he was super exhausted, him just like, it looks like it was on the couch of a hotel and he just kind of peels himself off of it. Like, I think I watched that video like 30 times, and I was, and my wife, my wife's like, oh my God, he's so adorable. And I was like, no, that's just like, that's actually Dusty. Like, he's just constantly this unicorn of energy and adorableness, but he's a shooter. And we appreciate our friendship with you guys, and we look forward to fantastic, healthy, and gratuitous, and not in a greedy way, but like we wish the greatest of financial successes to your business. We want to see you guys keep developing as a brand and keep bringing new unthought of products before, because we need that. Yeah, honestly, like, I personally think that the gun industry was stagnant for the past 50 years, and there's so much FUD lore, and LGS was the place to get your knowledge from, and now the internet is pro and con, but I think because of this, you get innovation and the ability to access that innovation and all that stuff, and you guys are doing a great job, and I just want to thank you for all that hard work you guys are putting in. So,
well, I appreciate it, and you've always been super supportive. I mean, you're probably one of the first people I met in the industry at one of the first shows I ever went to. I actually don't remember exactly how we met, but you probably just walked up to me because that's the type of guy you are. You probably saw me walking around looking lost, and you're
with
like,
a backpack.
Hey.
That's
it's probably the backpack with product that I was probably illegally handing out at the show, because you're not supposed to do that. But yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, you've always been nothing but supportive, and with advice and with business. So I appreciate you guys and what you're doing, not only for our business but the industry in its whole. Thank you.
I appreciate that, man. I think it was like, I actually could tell you the exact moment that we met for the first time. I think it was SHOT. I think we met earlier. We bumped into each other on the show floor, but you were on your way somewhere and I was on my way somewhere. But we finally, I think we maybe had like 2-3 sentences with each other in person. And I was talking to some spy. I'm not going to use the C word, but it's when you're working EU, there's spy motherfuckers, like Recondo dudes, and I was like, hold on, Greg, you need to come here. You got to show your shit to these dudes. These guys are fucking low vids. We're doing stuff. Fucking come here. And you're like, oh, hey, I'm a magnet Santa and he's plastic Santa. Here's some free shit, and
that's pretty much exactly how most of our interactions go when we're at shows, NRA shows, SHOT shows, wherever we've met. Like, you usually look at me, you're like, hey, who do you want to meet? And I'll be like, who do you think I should meet? And then you go drag me to meet scary dudes that kill people for a living, or industry people that supply things to people that kill people for a living, or whatever it is. It's always interesting.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's just like, you created solutions to problems that they didn't know they had, right? And they're all these high-end tier 1 dudes are gadgety dudes, and they're looking for something that's different, something that's lower vis, something that draws less attention to them, and you bring products to the table that does that, and that's hard to do, and especially when you're working with other countries where concealed carry is not a normal thing. It's they're seeking out solutions to us civilians that carry a gun every day, every hour of every day till we go to bed at night, you know, and they do it for a living, but they do it when they're operational. And, you know, we get to hit on points that they might have never thought of and solve solutions for them. So yeah, that's kind of our yin and yang. Not even, it's not a dichotomy, but it's our balance, you know, like I'm like, oh, come here, Graig. And yeah, I've got plenty of more people to introduce you to this year.
Good. Yeah, I got a product idea that I need you to make for me. I need like a Kydex taco holder. Just going back to, it's almost 6 o'clock. I'm ready for dinner. So I'm thinking about tacos, but I need like taco holsters.
Yeah, I just want to make sure there's no PCBs and fucking Kydex. Like, you know, like make sure it's like not BPA or PCBs and it's food grade. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, whatever.
We can talk about it.
If you eat the tacos fast enough, you shouldn't have to worry about it, right?
Yeah. It's like the ground rule. You got a few seconds before bacteria takes over.
Yeah, you got 30 seconds before this taco's going to kill you now, but.
Anyway, Graig Davis.
All right.
No, I can't. You're Graig, Graig Davis, NeoMag guys. This is episode 24. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. And we're gonna bring Graig back because we're both. You can tell we're both fucking antsy people. We're rotating in our chairs here, like, okay, what's next?
I'm sitting for an hour and a half. I'm not used to this.
Yeah, okay, I gotta go walk. So Graig, have a wonderful night with your family. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.